What if I told you that scientists have discovered something extraordinary? Listening to the Quran can affect the brain in ways they never anticipated. In one remarkable study involving over 1,500 participants, researchers measured anxiety levels before and after they listened to Quranic recitation. The results were astonishing. Anxiety dropped significantly, and participants reported feeling calmer, more relaxed, and at peace. Personally, I've always felt a deep sense of calm when listening to the Quran. Whenever I'm stressed or sad, its recitation soothes my heart and restores my peace of mind. Another fascinating study revealed that listening to the Quran boosts the brain's alpha waves, the brain activity associated with relaxation, focus, and the flow state. In yet another experiment, participants recited the Quran daily for 2 weeks. Brain scans showed a dramatic reduction in depression symptoms during that period. Science is clear. The Quran can have a profound impact on reducing both anxiety and depression. But what exactly is depression? And why is it so serious? Depression doesn't just affect the mind. It impacts the body too, causing everything from persistent sadness to physical aches and pains. People often dismiss it with phrases like, "It's all in your head," or "just snap out of it." But the truth is, clinical depression causes actual changes in the brain. Research shows that certain brain regions shrink in those suffering from severe depression. The good news? These changes can be reversed. Recovery, whether through therapy, medication, or other means, can restore brain function. In fact, antidepressants have been shown to stimulate the growth of new neurons, which may be why they help improve mood. However, while medications can be effective, they often come with unwanted side effects. Listening to the Quran, on the other hand, carries no negative effects, only benefits. Its beauty and tranquility can touch the soul in ways medicine cannot. And honestly, that voice, that recitation, it's just so incredibly beautiful. Anxiety, stress, and depression now affect nearly 20% of the world's population. That's about 1 in every 5 people, each facing mental, emotional, physical, social, and even financial challenges because of these conditions. We often hear people talk about depression, but it's important to understand the difference between depression and sadness. Sadness is usually a temporary response to specific events, something that happened or didn't happen. Depression, however, runs deeper. As actor Jim Carrey once described, depression can feel like your body saying, "I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to keep playing this role you've created for the world. It's too exhausting." A spiritual teacher named Jeff Foster offers an insightful perspective on the word depressed. He suggests breaking it down into deep rest, a state where your body and mind are asking for a pause, a break from the exhausting identity you've been trying to maintain. This analogy resonates deeply when viewed from an Islamic perspective. If we live our lives neglecting our true purpose and our Creator, depression can naturally follow. Allah tells us in the Quran, "Whoever turns away from my reminder will certainly have a depressed life." This verse makes it clear, turning away from the remembrance of Allah leads to a life of hardship. And what is the reminder from Allah? It's the Quran itself. As the scientific studies we've discussed earlier show, listening to the Quran can significantly reduce depression and anxiety. By the same logic, turning away from it can worsen these struggles. Allah further reminds us that whoever follows His revelation will never be lost or miserable. There's also one more fascinating study worth mentioning. It was conducted across 132 countries, involving 140,000 people, with massive resources invested to find out what truly defines life quality and happiness. The results showed that wealthier nations tended to report higher levels of happiness. But when you look closer, what they were really measuring wasn't happiness in its truest sense. It was comfort. People were essentially being asked, "Are you happy with your car? Yes, it's nice. Are you happy with your house? Yes, it's above average compared to others." In other words, the study equated happiness with material comfort, not inner peace or fulfillment. And that's the key difference. True contentment comes from aligning with your purpose and staying connected to the one who created you, not merely from having more possessions. And yet, despite all this comfort and luxury, many people in these countries are still prone to destructive thoughts and behaviors. A third question in the study revealed the missing piece. Do you see life as coherent, purposeful, and meaningful? This was the true key. In countries with less material comfort but a strong sense of life's meaning, people found life bearable, even fulfilling. They could discover contentment, build resilience, and exercise patience despite hardships. On the other hand, in wealthier nations where life lacked meaning, people often found life empty, unbearable, and void of real joy. This directly aligns with what Allah tells us in the Quran. Whoever follows my guidance will never be lost and will never be miserable. And in the very next verse, whoever turns away from my remembrance will certainly have a depressed life. The Arabic term used here describes a life that is tight, constricted, suffocating, shallow, and without depth. And the verse continues, and we will resurrect them blind. Just as they turned a blind eye to Allah's guidance in this world, they will be raised blind in the hereafter.